Good morning, students. Welcome back to the next session of Artificial Intelligence. And with this class, we are going to start a new chapter of Artificial Intelligence, that is adversarial search. Basically, we have seen a search algorithm in the previous sessions, that what the role of search algorithm. The search algorithm is to find the solution from the given set of states, that is from the initial state to the goal state, along with that some other sets, some other states, okay, and how it is moving from initial state to goal state is what your search search space, that means the search algorithm will deals on that. But this is how adversarial search till now, see, till now whatever we have seen is we have seen on single agent environment. So single agent environment means one player is playing a game or one player is performing an operation. For example, if I take an example of robot, if there is only a single agent, means one robot is there, and we have formulated the problems and we have solved the problems based on one robot or based on one source, based on a single instance where a person is going from single source to single destination. But now we are going to see where the agents are not in a single digit. It can be more than one agents. That means we are discussing now here in an multi-agent environment. So adversarial search is actually called as game playing technique. Why we are calling as a game playing technique? For example, if I want to play a game, if for example, if I'm taking a chess board, a chess is there, so it's a two-player game. So what happens here is, if I can take a case that if a single agent is there, so single agent doesn't knows what the other actions will be there by the opponent. Okay, so now in this search we are going to discuss that what kind of best techniques are to be adopted so that we can win these games. Okay, that's why adversarial search is usually performed on the applications of games. That's why we are called as game playing technique, or simply you can call as adversarial search as game playing, or game in simple term you can call as games. Why? Because here our for example, if it is a two-player game, one player is playing the if the turn comes to the first player will play in a way that it can win the game. But at the same time, from the other side, the other player, the other agent will also tries to maximize his probability of winning the game. So from both the ends, both are trying to win the game. Okay, so that means here whatever the goal which we are performing, there is an conflicting on that. So that is how the case of multiple agents. So now what happens is, for example, if one player, as we are human being, and the other player is a computer. Now this game playing technique, a game has the software, they have make the other player as a computer. Now whatever we play, the computer will decides on the input what we have given to the in that game. Based on the logic factor, what is the best option is there from the computer side, the computer will opt for that. That means here this game playing, it means that a logical factor, that means whenever the computer will think logically, rationally, right? Computer will think logically, and also some kind of human intelligence is required. So including both of this factor, that is human intelligence and logic factor, okay, this game playing technique will be performed. Remember here, we are not implementing any luck factor. Okay, we are not including any luck factor here. Why? Because it is purely based on the logic and the intelligence. Okay, so there is no such luck factor. So the games where the lucks will be used, like Ludo will be there, We don't know that based on the luck, you may get some turn. So such games will not be considered as this part of this game. Okay. For example, if I say tic-tac-toe or else chess or any checkers, so such games where there is no luck factors, only the mind works. I mean, the logical, that means it works on the logic based knowledge. Okay. It works on the logical based knowledge rather than luck factor. So such kind of games will come under this category, adversarial search category. So first thing what you need to say here is this adversarial search means here 2-player agents or multiplayer agents will work here, okay, in this type of game, the first thing. The second thing is that here human intelligence and logic factor is required. What we required is human intelligence and logic factor is used. And the third point is there is no luck factor which will be used by the games of adversarial search. Okay, so these are the three things which we need to understand here while going deep into this type of search mechanism. Now mathematically if you term this search, you can term this search, adversarial search, as game theory. What you can term this as game theory. Okay, what do you mean by game theory? Game theory means a game is played between 2 players to complete the game. And what will be the outcome of this game? The outcome of the game is that one will win the game or other will lose automatically. If one will win the game, the other will lose it. That means if it means like if both of them will not win the game or both of them will not lose the game. Either any one of the person will win the game or other opponent will lose the game. So in that sense, that's why such kind of theory is called as game theory. Okay, so this search technique is based on game theory. So the outcome will be either you can win the game or else you can lose the game. But there are some seldom option is also there, something like tie of the game, tie, okay, where none of them can win or none of them can lose. Okay, you can say draw the match. So in that sense it can also happen. Okay, but mostly what happens is either a person will win the games or other loses the other one. So in that one, if I go with adversarial search, in that again it have some categories here, such as if you say the first is something perfect decision games. Okay, perfect decision games. What do you mean by perfect decision game? Means, for example, if each player, whenever plays a game, whenever makes any decision, okay, is perfectly informed of all the events that have previously occurred. That means if one player is playing the game, and that means he knows, the player knows what the previously event occurred. So based on that it will decide the next step accordingly. And all the previous in the sense means including the initialization event also. That means who has started the game. Okay, because if 2 players will be there, anyhow one of the player has to start the game. So it means whenever a player plays at any moment of time, the player knows that what was the previous, all the steps which were taken from both the sides and who has taken the first step, that means who has started the game. Okay, this is the first thing about perfect decision games. Along with that, people might get confused between perfect game, perfect information or else complete information. See, there is some difference here which we need to understand here. Perfect information is, is important, but it is different from complete information. Okay, for example, in this game you don't have complete information, because what happens is at some moment of time the opponent, there have some possibilities that the opponent might choose in certain options are there, but we don't know which option it can select. Possibilities will be there, so complete information will not be there, but perfect information will be there. So if you see an example, the chess is a best example for perfect decision games. Okay, where each player can see all the pieces on the board at all times. That means the pieces of both the sides. Okay, so complete information will be there. So that's why you can term this as perfect decision games. There are other games as well, such as you can call as tic-tac-toe, checkers, okay, and also infinite chess. So all of this type of games are categories of game, examples of games are come under perfect decision games. Now there is another category called imperfect decision games. Okay, so we need to understand now what is meant by imperfect decision games. Imperfect decision games means here, while making any decision, is the player doesn't have is uninformed of all the events that have previously occurred. Okay, like if you see in this one, previously all of the information we have, it knows about that, but here it doesn't have the such kind of information. Something like if you say that it has no idea that what the opponent can take the measure, I mean can take the action. So if you see here, the opponent, it means the player is unaware of the action chosen by other player. Okay, because in chess we know that there are some options are available by which any one of the option the opponent can take, but in this one the player doesn't have information on the opponent what the actions what the to be taken, so unaware of all the actions chosen by the other players. So that's why it's very difficult for the first player to identify that what the opponent decision will be. Like if I take an example here, card games will be there. Okay, so whenever each player cards are hidden from other players, definitely, right? Okay, so in that sense what happens, if the cards are hidden, they don't know what are the possible cards are there. So based on that, what happens, the player doesn't have a complete information on that. So because it doesn't have complete information, or because it doesn't have a proper information, so that's why such games will come under your imperfect decision games. Such as you can take an example here. So this pokers and bridge are the examples of games with imperfect information. See, imperfect decision games means imperfect information. Why the term here decision is used here? Why instead of perfect information games we can choose, why we have chosen perfect decision games? Because if we have perfect information, then the first player will perfectly decide which is the best option in order to beat opponent. That's why the term has been given as perfect decision games. Similarly, the same case applies but in opposite manner in imperfect decision games. Because of not having proper information, the decision whatever it has to be made are not imperfect, or they are imperfect. So that's why these are the categories of games such as perfect decision in games and imperfect decision games. Now we need to set up the game. Whenever we need to set up a game, for example, if this is how game setup I am taking for 2 players only, right? I'm not taking it, you can take more than 2 players also, but now just I'm taking 2 players. The first I have taken as max and the second I have taken as minimum. Like you should get a doubt why we have taken this as max and why we have taken this as minimum. Max indicates that this you can call as first player, okay, and minimum is your opponent. Okay, so max means here, max is the first person or the first player who tries to maximize its chance of winning the game. Got it? Max means is a person, is a player. Is a player. You shouldn't call a person because here computer will also be there. So max is a player where it tries to maximize its performance so that that player can win this game. The first player can win this game. And this minimum means the other player, or you can call as opponent, where this opponent will try to minimize the performance of the first player. It will not minimize the performance of itself, but it will minimize the performance of the first player. That's why you are using the term as minimum or min. Okay, so don't get confused while taking minimum. Minimum means it is not minimizing the performance of itself, but it is try to minimize the performance of the first player so that min can win. Ultimately there are two options, either either the first player can win, either the second player can win. If for example, if the first player, if minimum, this one, if this second player, that is min, if we'll try to reduce the performance of max, then minimum automatically wins the game. That means the opponent wins the game. That's why you are terming these two players as max and min. Okay. Now we need to see game as a search. Okay. See here, previously in the previous chapters I have explained you about search algorithm. The search algorithm we have taken a problem, but now we are taking game as a search technique. So if I implement the game as search technique, so I have to adopt the same thing which we have adopted previously in search algorithm. Initially we have taken a initial state, and also we are taking successor functions. That means how it moves, right? What are the legal moves? That's important here. It shouldn't be illegal. Illegal moves means it should strictly follow the rules. It should strictly follow the rules. Based on the rules only the moves should be taken. That's why it is called as legal moves. Terminal test. Terminal test means, for example, if you reach to one state, whether your game has been finished or not, if that it will be get finishes, then terminal test is successful. And finally you may have this term utility function, where you haven't got in the previous search mechanism, but here you are using in game. So it will be having three values, okay, +1 or else -1 or else 0. Okay, so it will give you the final result. Okay, this is the final result. Intermediate result, it can be anything, but the final result of the game, if it reaches either to +1, or if it reaches to -1, or if it reaches to 0, then the game is completed. How can you say that the game has reached to end? If you got any one of these three values, then you can say that the game has completed. And if the value is +1, that means the first player has win the game. And if it is -1, means the first player has loses the game. And this 0 means none of them has win the game. Okay, draw, that means the match, that means the game has been drawn. And that especially you can use in tic-tac-toe or else in chessboard. Okay, so these are called as utility functions, or you can call as these +1, -1 and 0 are called as utility values. Okay, these are called as utility values. And you can see initial state means, for example, if you are playing a chess, the board configuration of a chess is your initial state, where none of them has started. Okay, so that is how the initial state. So in that sense, this is what the what is that search space for game. Okay, this is called as game search space. Okay, search space are the you can term this as a search mechanism. Now this is how we have seen now, but we need to see the size also for search trees. Okay, now this is game technique we are implementing through trees. That's why you can call as search trees, and we have to see what can be the size of the search trees. So the size of the search tree will be based on two factors, that is branching factor and the number of moves by both the players. Okay, for example, one game is there, like for example if I take tic-tac-toe, if we have some options will be there. Okay, so now how many child, let us assume there are 8 childs, 7 childs, sorry 8 only I can take, because if I am taking x here means 8 options will be available. So 8 childs. So now what is the branching factor here? 8. Okay, and number of moves by both the players, how many number of moves you have played is what called d value. Okay, you can call as depth first search, and usually Remember, game playing technique, very important point, game playing search algorithm, game playing search technique will never use BFS. It can use DFS. Okay? Why? Because every child are the options of the game, are the possible outcomes of the game. So if any player is there, it will not at the same time play all the options. It will select only one of them. That's why BFS will not be applicable in game playing technique. But DFS is applicable because anyhow you are going to the depth for reaching, for searching for your goal node. Okay. Similarly, if you go for a chess, for example, now this B represents for 35. Means, for example, like if you know, okay, like if a chess is there, if 36 possibilities are there, and one player is already there, then the player can move to 35. That means 35 childs you can take here, 35 nodes you can take. That's why the branching factor becomes as 35. And how many moves maximum in worst case, this is in worst case, right? It takes by both the players, means from both the side, means it's 100. So imagine the search tree, it will be too large enough. Okay, the search will be very large enough. That's why it is completely impractical to use such kind of mechanism, especially in chess. Okay, so because it's very impractical to use, so we have to go for an alternate one according to this game, especially for this game. So that's why the game playing always emphasize on making optimal decision. Optimal decision, I said, it's not the best decision, but it is the good decision, okay, which have finite amount of time and finite amount of space. Okay, and it should be realistic. It should not be unrealistic. Okay, it should be something, a realistic model where it obeys real world agent. Okay, where it obeys real world agent. So in that sense, the size of search trees we need to know. Now we are just seeing tic-tac-toe. For example, this is the partial game tree. For example, the first player is X. Now max is what the first player and minimum is the second player. And as you know, this tic-tac-toe is a two-player game. So that's why the first player will take the value as X and the second player will take the value as O. Now initially, as you know, it is an empty one. So that means you can put X into how many positions you can put here? Totally 9 positions you can put. 1, 2, 3, 1. This is at this time. 1, 2, 3, again 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Okay. So the first turn, that means the initiator who is initializes the game, X has initializes the game. Okay. Now what are the available options for the second player? Okay. For example, if X, if it is taken in this position, now what are the available options for O? This one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one and this one. How many options are available? 8. Okay. So you can take either here, you can take here, either here, you can take here either, and so on. You can take till 8 positions. So that is how it works. Similarly, if you have taken this X here, so here also there are 8 positions are available. You can take 0 here, O here, you can take O here, O. At any position you can take here. Similarly, it also applicable for this one as well. So this is how something, a state space, or you can call as a game tree. Now as this is the turn of who? The second player in the second step, and it will works in alternative only. Na? 2-player games, one person will play the game, play its turn, then the other player will decides based on its the first the first player movement. Now for example, if the first player has chosen x to this location for instance, okay, in this location, now the minimum the second player has to go with this solution only, not all other solutions. There is no need of going to all other solutions. So based on the input what we have, what first player has given, the second player will decide its further planning. So this is how something, that's why it is called as adversarial search. Similarly, for example, now in the third time when second player already played, for example second player has put the O here. Now how many options are available? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now 7 are available. So now x should put in a way, it should maximize. X can put here, x can put there, x can put there. So which is the best one? This is the best one because it can forms an order, or else this can be the best one, but here this won't be the best one. But these are the possible outcomes. So in that way, so on up to finally what happens is the utility function, okay. Now as you can see here, the other player has, that is OO has reached to his, that means arranges, okay, and wins the game. So as second player wins the game, that's why it is -1. And in this case none of them has win, that's why it is 0. And in this place it is win diagonally, that's why it is +1. So that's why the utility values finally, whenever a utility, any one of the utility value will come, it says that the game has completed. So that's why it is partial, and this is so on. It means many states can be there. So in that sense this tic-tac-toe will work, and this is just an example to understand that how the game search technique will works. Now if you go with 2-ply game tray, again the same thing here it is, but I am taking in a generalized way, okay. For example, as I said here, if it is max then it is minimum, and it is max it is minimum. So same thing here also, when it is max, for the first time initially it will be max only, remember, the second time it will be minimum, right. Now this is also not yet completed, but in between they got some values here. What are these values? Utility values, 3, 12, 8, 2, 8 to 4, 6. Because if you see in the previous one, finally we got utility values as -1, 0 and +1, okay. But here middle only we got some values here. So now how it works, okay. The first thing is that, remember, max is there. For max, okay, for max the initial value, okay, the initial value will be -infinity, and minimum the initial value will be +infinity, okay. Remember, now what is there above to this ancestor of this is minimum, that means we have to select any minimum value from that. But how can you select? First we have to take, right, minimum. Whenever you are taking minimum, initial value of minimum is infinity, so I have to take infinity comma 3, which is minimum value 3, right. From infinity and 3, which is minimum value 3. Now among 3 and 12, which is minimum value 3, and again next value is 3 comma 8, which is minimum value 3. So here it updates as 3. So similarly in this case also infinity comma 2 is there, which is minimum value 2, and the next value is what? 4. So which is minimum value 2 among both of them. Again 2 comma 6 is there, right, so which is minimum value 2. Similarly here also infinity comma 14, which is minimum value 14. Next it is compare with 5, which is minimum value 5, and again it compares with 2, which is minimum value 2. So here what we got minimum here as 2, and here we got as also 2, right? So we need to see now here. That's why you got C 3 2 2. In that way directly it has been. How to get this one? By this procedure, remember. So you can note down this procedure. Procedure is very important, because whenever you are taking minimum here, whenever you are finding the minimum value, you have to take the first initial value of minimum. So the initial value of minimum is minus plus infinity. Okay, so that's why the range of this values in this one will be minus infinity to plus infinity. Okay, between this only the values will be there. So this is the first value, and this is the first value for max. But as we are finding minimum, so we have to take this value, and we got 3 2 2. So here we got 3 2 2, right? In the same way, now what is the next here is we need to find out the maximum value among these three values 3 2 2. Now here minimum means I said minus infinity, right? So minus infinity comma 3. So which is maximum value here? 3, right? Now 3 is compared with 2, which is maximum value 3. Now 3 is compared with 2, which is maximum value 3. So finally you got this as 3. Okay, this is how the minimum and maximum works here. Okay, so this 3 2 3 directly you can also write, but we need to understand here this minus infinity and plus infinity, because the next is about the algorithm. If you understand this algorithm, if you understand this minus infinity and this plus infinity, then it's very easy for you to understand the algorithm as well for the min max algorithm. Okay, so that's why minimax maximize the utility for the worst case outcome. Okay, that's why this is being used here. Now what if minimum does not apply optimally? See here, as for example maximum is performing well. Maximum means first player will maximize the performance of its winning the game. Okay, max means first player, minimum means second player. What if minimum does not play optimally? That means, for example, if minimum does not play well, that means minimum does not try to minimize the performance of the first player. Ultimately what happens? Max will do even better. It means max can win the game. That it means, right? So that's why both the max or minimum both will perform optimally. Optimally means max will try to maximize the performance of one, and minimum means tries to reduce the performance of one only, not two. Okay, if minimum doesn't work well, that means it is unable to reduce the performance of one. That means this max will work efficiently or in a better way. It means it can win the probability of winning the max if the minimum does not play optimally is more compared to the probability when max and minimum works both at the same time. Okay, so you can play back this video again so that you can understand well for this. Now the pseudocode, that's why I said we need to understand here. So minimum minimax decision, actually this is a decision algorithm, because selecting which node is important here, and input node will be selected based on the value here. So that's why the input will be here minimax here. It returns always an action. Action means what ultimately what happens to the game. Okay, that it will consider as an action. So now if you take an inputs, what inputs it will take? Initially the current state in a game, whatever the current state is, the game in there and the state is there. Now here always what happens here is it will select the max value. Okay, that means here whatever it happens, finally at the upper side it will be maximum value only it will select among all of those. with combination of max and min. So always the V value will select on the maximum value. Okay, so this is very important. Okay, and it returns the action in successor with value V. Now we need to see what is value V. V means the range. Okay, V means here initial value. Okay, for example, if I am taking, understand here, if you see this one, the initial value of V is minus infinity. I said you that the initial value for minus infinity will be there for what? Max, right? And the initial value infinity for minimum. That means this is V value, and again here this is also V value. But this V value plus infinity is there for, this is I am writing plus here, for minimum, and this is for maximum. So as you know, this minus infinity means it is for maximum. That's why you are finding maximum here by considering the first value V as minus infinity. That's why you can see here minus infinity comma 3. Initially how you have started? Minus infinity comma 3. So in that sense it works here. Minus infinity comma 3. So here you can take 3 again. In that it selects which is the maximum value, 3. Okay, like that it performs, and it will perform as a for loop until you got the max value. Similarly, until you got means up to where it works? Until here. Okay, until here. So it performs here until by giving this value to the minimum, remember. Okay. Now similarly, if we take V as plus infinity or simply infinity, so where it works here? Okay, V means plus infinity means it works for finding the minimum value. Finding the minimum value. So here, so minimum you are finding, and you are taking what? Infinity, comma, for example, if I am taking 3. Now which is minimum value here? 3 only, right? 3 only is the minimum value. So it will take next 3. Next it will continue. For loop means again it continues here. So like here it is continuing, right? Here. So here you can see this line. First it got this, and you got minimum value as 2. Again it compares with 4. You got 2 again minimum, and again 2 is compared with 6. You got finally as 2. So this is how for loop. It will works in a for loop. Okay. So it will works in a for loop, and it returns V value. Okay. So return V value means here which value now? According to this example, 2 value. What is the value which it returns? V as 2, and here what it returns the value V as 3. Here it returns as 3, and here for finding this, finally here it is. Yeah, here it is giving us 3 value. So this is V value. Okay. So in that sense this pseudocode will work here. Now we need to see that how can you evaluate this process, that means how can you move from one state to another state. As I said you that the values for evaluation function will be from minus infinity means loss r to plus infinity. This is the range, right? Minus infinity to plus infinity. And what is meant by evaluation function means it estimates how the current board configuration is for player. That means for particular instance whether by that condition whether a first player can win the game or not we can come to know. Okay. Why? Because this evaluation function value, based on the evaluation function value, if for example evaluation function value is giving as negative value, that means very less chances are there okay, to win the game. And if evaluation function value will give as positive, means very huge chances are there to win the game. And evaluation function value, when it gives 0, that means at that particular state, I am not saying that it has finally draw the match, but at that particular state it is in a situation where the condition is 50-50. That means any one of the player can win here just by taking an appropriate decision. Any one of the player can win the game properly. So 0 means at that particular state it is like it is not in a condition that where first player is winning or the second draw the match, okay, in that sense it is. So that's why this evaluation function will help us to figure out that how good is the player while playing the game. Okay, simple term means evaluation function will figure out how good is the player for winning the game and what are the chances of player to win the game. I mean, which player will win the game, what are the chances. That's why in that sense it happens. So if I take in tic-tac-toe, how can you find out evaluation function means, for example, number of successful moves which are taken by the first player, that is x, minus number of successful moves taken by 0, okay. The value after subtracting this, if you are getting the value as a positive, means huge chances of winning the first player by the first player, and negative means the second player have more chances over first player, okay. So in that sense this evaluation function works, okay. Now we'll see an example here. For example, randomly for the first time x has put this position here, first player has put this position here, and the second player has put this O into this position. Now in this state, if we want to know who will win the game, how can you know? First we need to find out the possible moves of x. So how many places are available for x? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, isn't it or not? To win the path, that means how can it moves? If it moves here in this direction, okay, if it can move to this direction, if it can move to this direction, or else in the least preference you can put in this direction. But if you put here, very less chances are there. So x has 6 possible win paths. That's why 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, and you can take any one of them based on that. So you can have winning 6 paths, okay. Because if you put here also, if you put next one, you can win. If you put here also, if you put here also, you can win the game, okay. And if you put here also, next time if you put here, you can win the game, okay. Yeah, better you shouldn't include this one. You can take this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 possibilities you can move here. Because if you put here means again it is not forming any direction, right? So how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paths are there. And for O, the same thing. Like now, if I take for O, what happens? 5 paths. 5 paths means you can move to here 1 and 2. If you can move 1 or 2 here, here, right? Or else you can take where? You can take here 3, you can take 4, okay. And successful moves I am taking. So if I am taking here, so I can take here also. So that means 0 has 5, O has 5 possible wins. Possible wins I am saying. It's not compulsory that, right? So the difference of this both of this value 6 minus 5, 1, It means if it is getting 1 means the first player will win the game. Why? Because if the first player has 6 possible wins and second player has just 5 possible wins, then the winning, if it is getting +1, that means the optimal value is getting +1 means the first player will win the game. Similarly, if you go into the second aspect, now if you take in this way, what happens here is X can have 4 possible win paths and O has 6 possible win paths. Why? Because O can take here, okay, you can take here, you can take here, O, you can take here, you can take here, and 2, 3, and you can take here and you can take here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why I am not taking here for O? Because here already X is there. So possibility of at this state, who has more possibility? O has more possibility, because now it is getting as -2. It is getting as -2. -2 means whenever a number is negative means second player have the more chances of winning the game. So this is how evaluation functions. Similarly, if you take this case, in this third example, X has 5 possible moves. How? You can take here, you can take here, okay, and you can take here, you can take here, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, and you can take either here. But if you take here, what happens here is it's already there here. That's why you can take this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 possible moves, win paths are there, and O has 4 possible moves. How? Because if you take O here, it is not allowed. So you can take O here, you can take O here, and you can take O here, and you can take O here. That's why 4. Now 5 minus 4 means E of n is 1. That means at this state, who has the more possibility to win the game? The first player. So like that, every step, this evaluation function will try to figure out that who is playing well, okay, who is playing well. That's why this is the formula. E of n is equals to m of n minus O of n, okay. So m of n here means the first player value and O of n is the second player value, okay. So in this way, what happens, this is how the evaluation function works here. But the problem again lies here in minimax algorithm is, here it has to, for example in this case, if I am taking a chess and if I am try to use chess game in minimax algorithm, okay, then there are various number of nodes will be there. So it will be practically very difficult, I mean you can say it's impossible. That's why there is an alternate for that, okay. So that alternate is called as alpha beta pruning, okay. Okay, and this next concept, that is alpha beta pruning, which we'll be seeing in the next session, okay. So right now what we have discussed so far right now, see we have discussed that what is an adversarial search. It's a 2-player or multiplayer or multi-agent game, multi-agent environment where multiple players will be there, okay, or multiple agents works here, and it is how simply you can call as a game, and it behaves in a way that one has to win and one has to lose the game according to game theory. And we have perfect decision and imperfect decision games categories. Also we have taken an example of max and min by taking a game setup, that how can you set up a game, and we have seen that search trees where it exponentially increases the size of search tree for some examples such as chess, okay. And we have seen a partial game tree for tic-tac-toe, that how the things will work here, okay. This is 2-ply game tree, or else you can call as minimax algorithm, okay. That's why we have seen the pseudocode also, and we have seen why minus infinity or plus infinity has been taken in the given algorithm. And we have seen also an evaluation function, okay. So evaluation function, here we have seen an example also, okay. So this completes the today's session. Thank you.